Welcome to the Stickers on the Mic podcast, brought to you by StickerGiant.com, where we talk with our customers about how they started their business, how they're marketing their brand, and how they're growing their company. Without further ado, it's time for the Stickers on the Mic podcast from Sticker Giant. Let's get on with the show. Hey everybody, welcome back to Stickers on the Mic. Andrew with you again for this edition. Very excited to be dialing in Marcus and Brittanie Jones from Wylie, Texas, and their brand Fineapple Vegan. And thank you so much for joining us. Very excited to talk to you. We got together on Instagram and we've been following y'all and you're customers of ours, and we want to really figure out what makes you tick and how this business is coming to life for you.
Yes. Hi. Thank you so much for having us. We're very excited. I'm probably going to be all over the place, so you're going to have to bring me back down.
It's okay, Brittanie. And Brittanie, for those who are following along and have seen our Instagram, you are the logo. You are like the icon of your brand, Fineapple Vegan. Where does the name Fineapple Vegan come from? What's that all about? Let's start right there. It's a nice brand name.
It's so funny. So I'm like obsessed with pineapples. It's my favorite fruit ever. And it's so funny because before me and him got together, I actually never actually tried a pineapple. It was his favorite fruit, and I just kind of took it over. And so we were trying to think about a name for my YouTube channel because that's where it all started. And I couldn't come up with anything. And then I was like, I want something with pineapples because I love pineapples. And he was like, well, everybody calls you Fineapple. And I was like, okay, Fineapple Vegan. How about that? And I was joking. And he said, that's actually really good. So we're going to use that.
The best idea. So it was natural because of your love of pineapples, and you start this YouTube channel then. So that's sort of where you kick this off. So what was the motivation to start a YouTube channel to serve this kind of content?
So it was, so I wasn't really big on social media, but I kind of started posting like our vegan meals when we were transitioning because we tried before, but we failed. So we tried again, and I started posting stuff like, let me figure out how to make the food taste good for my family, and mainly our kids, because you can't just kind of change kids up like that. You can't go from eating wings and burgers to salads. And I didn't want to do that. And I have a full-grown man. So I was like, he's not going to want to eat that every day either. So when I started creating vegan meals, people would be like, how'd you do that? I want to know, how did that look so good? You need a YouTube. And they actually told me this for like almost 8 months until I finally did it. And it just kind of went from there. Like other people pushed me and he pushed me. So
that's amazing. And as a father of three and knowing right now, you got this really popular vegan mac and cheese recipe. I'm sure like that's right. Like a big hit, right? When you do that in the house. I have two people that are very discerning on even the color of the cheese. So if it's the yellow cheese, it's not going to work for one. And if it's the white cheese, it's not going to work for the other. So to be able to meet those palates is pretty impressive as a parent, and especially as a mom doing meal planning, because it is a full-time job, right? Like, so how do you then create a business out of something that's a passion and solving a problem for your family too?
Yeah, it just, honestly, we didn't plan it to happen. When I started my YouTube channel, if somebody had told me we'd be where we are now, I would have never thought that. And honestly, when I create meals, I ask them, do you like this? Be honest. Because if you don't, I'm not going to keep buying it. I'm not going to keep making it. And I have to know, what do you like? What don't you like? So when we have 4 boys and then my husband.
You've got 5 boys. No offense, Marcus. And a dog too.
Big husky.
Yeah, we have 3 boys and 2 girls in our family, right? Like the boys, we all have a different, engine that we need to power, right?
Yeah.
So you grow from this, what has become a pretty robust YouTube channel. Now you have a very active Instagram with a pretty big following. That was one thing that jumped out to me early on in my research for this. And once we saw what y'all are doing with our labels, how do you get, you're only a couple years old. That's, 16,000 something people a year that have engaged with you. There's a lot of maybe spam and robots out there on the internet, but you're also getting people to comment on your stuff, and there are thousands of hearts on this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So there's a real engagement an investment from your audience.
Yes. So basically, and I let it be known, I don't consider myself an influencer. A lot of people do, but I don't. And my main purpose is to keep my page and my YouTube and my Instagram as transparent as possible. I'm a mama.
Right.
I'm a woman. I am young. I'm a wife. I don't want to have to pretend to be something else to appeal to an audience, because at some point you're going to lose yourself, right?
Right.
And I can't keep up with life as it is now. So I sure can't keep up with a whole nother persona. So I think people kind of gravitate towards me because I'm real and they can relate to me. Because if I don't share foods that I don't like. Right. So if I post a business, I've tried it already and I like it, you know? So I'm very transparent. I'm honest. And I think people appreciate that. I think they like the fact that they can talk to me. I respond to every message, every single
That's a full-time
job.
That's a chore.
That is a full-time job.
Because I don't want people to feel like I am superior. I'm just a person. Mm-hmm. I bleed the same. I go to bed the same way. I cry the same. And I think people just like that, you know, and I would like that. I wouldn't want to engage with somebody and give them likes and my money and my time if they don't appreciate me. I appreciate everybody who likes my pictures, who watches, who follows.
Yeah, 6,000 people with this most recent barbecue recipe with you guys messing around in the kitchen. Obviously, they like it when they see both of you, you know, because that's the actual real life that's not scripted, right?
And I love it.
And it actually looks really good. You got the mashed potatoes and collards.
It was so good.
Fantastic. Well, and that makes me think, because you look at that sort of recipe list, and you look at where you all are from. You know, Texas barbecue is like culture. That is the common language. You don't, how are you in Texas and then you want to become vegan? So, right? Like, so that is something I'm trying to because that's a fundamental thing too in your community too. And to try to figure out where to shop and what to buy. Like you said, you're finding businesses and products. That's a really tough thing to do. We've had other guests on the show, a young woman who's creating like a plant-based, athletic nutrition supplement, right? That's a really tough space to be in because it's dominated by cheap bars and crappy gels and sugar-based products. How did you come to wanting to become vegan and then really activate it through this process for the two of you?
So we visited it because of my health. I have something called adhesions, which is like scar tissue that's really sticky. And so you know how your organs kind of move and they're supposed to be really slimy?
Sure.
Well, mine are like tacky glue. And so they kind of stick together and it causes a lot of pain and discomfort, and it also attaches to your intestines and causes digestive issues. So I actually went vegan mainly because of that, because meat and dairy makes it really hard for your body to process. You know, it's like it's very hard, and weight gain and fatigue and pain. And so we revisited it because of my health. Yeah. The reason why we actually stuck with it was mainly because our youngest son, he was about 4 at the time, and we were at you know how like around Halloween they have like what is it called? Petting?
It was like a pumpkin patch.
Yeah.
Like petting, they had animals.
Yeah. And so he was holding a baby chick, and he said, "Mama, are these the same chickens that people eat?"
Yep.
Mind you, he's never ever liked meat.
Never.
We used to have to force him. He would eat the side, but he would never eat the meat.
So he's just like a Buddhist at heart. I don't know.
I guess.
Old soul, you know. That's when your kids teach you something and you're like, goodness gracious.
Yeah, most little kids are like that, though. You have to think about it. We kind of make them eat that type of stuff. Like, when you give a baby a chicken bone before they can eat anything else, give them a chicken bone to suck on. And so I said, yeah, baby, that is the same one. He said, well, why do we play with them and then go eat them? And me and my husband were kind of like,
crickets.
I'll see you later with that answer.
That was the last day.
Let me go do some research and figure out the best parenting tactic here. My son did that with cows once, and I'm like, well, buddy, I mean, that Chick-fil-A ad is mostly because it's, it's tongue in cheek, buddy. But so you're able to sort of create this space for yourself in again, what is, I think, a tough sort of market because it's a meat and potatoes kind of environment. And, you know, I love barbecue personally, but that doesn't mean you can't have it vegan style, right? So you're creating the flavors and the recipes and things that you want. Now, and that's much about like where you came from. But where you're going, and your Instagram is heavily branded, and you've got some new products out there, you know, like on your stories. That's you. So Marcus, that's like all the graphic design. Is that?
Yes, that would be me.
Good. Right on. That's cool. There's some, you know, the yellow, and you're just playing off all of it, right? What's your creative process around that? If you're the one who's tasked to this, because you're asked to do it, right? You got the CEO here, and you got the chief creative officer here. How does the CEO communicate to the chief creative here?
You know, I'm kind of a jack of all trades by nature. And when we started it, you know, we started the YouTube thing, and to be honest, when we first started, because I do like all of her video editing, like all the sound design, all that stuff is me. And so a lot of it was really just kind of learning on the fly. I had a little bit of experience in like, you know, videography before. But I kind of told her from the beginning, when we did the YouTube thing and people could see, okay, this is how you make the food. Mm-hmm. Then we got the responses of, oh, that looks amazing. I wish I could try it. So we went from YouTube, and then from there we kind of went to the farmers market in Dallas, which is a huge farmers market. And so we were there actually vending, and so we started selling a lot of the same foods that she was creating on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
And so from that point, I told her from the very beginning, I said, because you had to go through like an interview process and all that to see if you could get approved as a vendor.
Right.
And I told her, I was like, if we're going to do this, we need to do it with style. Like it has to be
so
like what you just said. Like it's a tough market, especially in Texas. Like it's tough getting people to adopt a vegan lifestyle, you know, in general, but Texas in particular. So I told her, I was like, if we're going to do it, it needs to be very attractive, very sexy in terms of like the graphics and, you know, pulling people in, especially because we were new. Like there were vendors out there that were very wildly popular, like long lines, like to the parking lot. And so I told her, I was like, you know, if we're going to do it, we need to do it all the way. Even if it means, you know, we're going to, you know, kind of go broke in the beginning, spending lots of money and signage and, you know,
just
all
the booth
that
rental. I in a past life, I worked for a company, and I worked the booth on the weekends at the farmers market. That's actually where I met the guy who runs this company. And so,
wow.
Yeah, everyone has a story, but like I sold a custom pasta product, and I was not the owner of the business, but you got to get your sales pitch. You got to set up the booth. You're there early. It might, here we have snow in the spring. So it's
just all about it.
Yeah.
It's tough. You're pulling the pop up and it breaks, and then someone comes and they don't have change, and all these things go into it that you don't really think about. And I learned a lot about sort of running a shop, and it's a different sales side of your brain too, right? I mean, e-commerce, it's like, sweet, new product up, everyone check it out.
Yep.
You're packing boxes. That's fulfillment. That's a different sort of experience for you as an owner too. And speaking of your e-commerce shop, folks, it's fineapplevegan.com is the website. You'll see Brittany there in the pineapple, wearing the vegan mascot crop, which is $24.99, by the way. And it's fourth tile over there, right there when you go into the women's section. But I'm most excited to talk about the food, right? Because this is all about food, and we do a lot with whether it's standalone businesses or food trucks or people coming up with home businesses, somewhat like your own. We came to you through the Liquid Gold label, which is a product, a cheese sauce that you have. So talk about developing this and then being able to create a standalone sort of thing. What went into that?
So that began because of the farmers market. So I was a vendor every weekend, and it was almost like an attraction. We were the largest group
because people are dipping they're tasting.
Well, not even just that. So how it started was my original cheese was cashew. So it was nut based, and a lot of
cheese out of cashews.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. It's really
and you
good
would
too.
never know.
Folks, I learn something new every time.
But I had a lot of supporters that could not have it because of nut allergies. And then one of our workers, which is his little sister, she has a very severe nut allergy. And her name is Maya. She's a model. Hi, Maya.
Yeah.
She's beautiful, but she's such a hard worker. And she, I would feed them. I would feed our boys because we're a family business. So our boys would work for us. My brother, his best friend. So she could never have, anytime we had cheese, she could never eat it because of her allergy. And I told him, I said, I need to develop a cheese that Maya can eat because that's not fair that she's like one of our hardest working employees and she cannot enjoy nachos or my Frito chili mac, which is my signature dish. That's what put me on the map, honestly.
Right.
And so I got in the kitchen and I started playing around with coconut milk. And it ended up being way better than my cashew cheese sauce. And so that kind of just stuck, and I served it a few times, and people were like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then they would see other people raving, can you sell it? And that's kind of how it started. We just started selling it in little mason jars.
And you're hand pack, you're doing it all in your kitchen, I presume. You don't have it like an offsite.
No, we have a commercial kitchen.
Oh, now you have a commercial.
Yeah, I don't make stuff for other people in my home.
Oh, good.
I mean, don't.
That makes sense. Yeah. It's too much.
We have a pet, and I don't want. Would you want to buy something from somebody else and they have a pet in their house?
Especially a husky.
So we actually have a commercial kitchen that we work out of. We're actually kind of working on growth right now. And
that's like the growth segment of the show. We interviewed an entrepreneur, like I said, this athletic product, nutrition product, and that's a big step, is finding that space to create and then
we're outgrowing the space.
Yeah, scale, right?
Yeah.
So you do the commercial kitchen thing. Liquid Gold looks like a lot of fun. As someone who's spent quite a lot of time in Wisconsin, and I just love cheese. I'm going
to send you some. I want you to try.
I won't say no. But it looked like a really cool thing, and I like the label. You got the contrast of the black and the yellow and the white colors. Just to like sort of bring it all together. And the product photography, Marcus, are you doing that with that like overflowing thing with the chips in it on the website? I'm looking on. Is that your photography?
Yes.
And your food, obviously, Brittany. So that chili dip looks delicious. It's lunchtime where I sit here. I've even yet to eat. So I have to say, and your little video on there is really, really fun. So I'm a big fan of that. And 95 calories a serving, that's not a ton, and only 8 grams of, 8 grams of fat. It's a pretty simple, looks like an all natural mix of flavors and ingredients. But what I'm really into here too is this weird usages. So let's talk about weird usages, not only of Liquid Gold, but like of your other products. Like you want to catch someone, like you got this on pasta here. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, pasta just takes the cheese sauce. It's just an Alfredo, right? Essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So it can go on anything. It's very versatile.
We've had people literally crack it open and drink it out of the jar.
That's like me with pickle juice. I can't restrain myself. I'll be honest with you. You can't eat the pickle first. You got to taste the juice. That's the best part for me.
And if you look through the reviews, you'll see people losing.
Oh, we get tons of
losing.
Plenty. I like to just sit there and read the reviews.
You mean reviews like on your site? Like I'm looking at the reviews. Yeah, on the product page. That's so funny. I could get lost in this, but I want to keep it on track here. When we were talking before, I mentioned that I noticed it was sold out. And I love your messaging. Like it says, we're temporarily out of stock. Yeah, we're bummed too. Right. I mean, you're talking like a person to your customers. That's important, right?
Very important to us.
Especially these days, because everything is crazy in general. And it's probably hard for you to know how to adapt, right, too, as things are changing constantly right now in this environment. What does it look like to get something like this back in stock to keep you guys, making people happy? Because that's ultimately what you're doing with this, right?
It's production. Without giving away too much, it's just that we are outgrowing our space very fast. Like right now, we have a mailing list for people to be notified when we're back in stock, and it's already over 2,000 people. And that's just people who want to order. That's not us like posting it online. Within
So
the past,
2,000 people times like $15 a jar with all the, shipping and handling. That's
Yeah, it gets pretty crazy.
you're
yeah,
trying to get this thing back online is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
yeah,
and usually like because we've gone out of stock before because of production, and we'll stock and we'll think that we have plenty in stock, and we're sold out within an hour. Like
It's one of those, they say,
thousands.
it sounds cute when people say, oh, it's a good problem you have. You're like, I would like less problems.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right. At some point you'd want less problems, right?
Yeah, and
yeah,
then like I said, like we're dealing with I mean, not a lot of people seem to be privy to it because we've had to respond to a lot of customers about it, but the USPS issues is a big problem for us because we've had packages that are supposed to go to like Cleveland, Ohio, they get routed all the way to Nevada,
Before
and then they
yeah.
end up back here in Dallas, and then it's insane.
yeah.
Right.
So we're navigating through that and we're currently in some negotiations to try to resolve that before we turn the orders back.
But when you start the YouTube channel and you're making food for your family, you don't think you're going to be on the phone with the U.S. Postal Service trying to figure out where Brandy's box went because she needed it for the barbecue in North Carolina or something. You know what I'm saying?
It'll
We
say,
ruined somebody's birthday. We
Yes.
get it in time.
and I'm like, it's
You
not,
can't win. That's when you can't win, though, right? Like you can't
Yeah.
win. I mean, you're like, guys, we'll give you the recipe. Like, let me, like, at a minimum, go to the YouTube channel. Like, we'll show you how to do it. But you do, you put you literally, Brittany, you put your face on this thing. You believe in it, right? And that's important to you. And again, you're not only trying to feed your family literally and physically on a daily basis, but now this has become clearly a big part of your life, right? Like,
Yes.
and Marcus, I mean, I see on your on Instagram, you're Marcus, be on it. Right, so BEONIT, yeah. So be on it, and you're doing a lot of work for people too, right? To grow the design side too.
I have like 4 other businesses that I own or am a part of as well.
Right.
So
Oh wow,
that's why like my social media is pretty sad in comparison because I just don't honestly have the time.
yeah,
Well, and you're obviously y'all are throwing a lot into the Fineapple brand. Obviously, it's the 6th child in your home.
basically, yes.
Absolutely, and the first, now. Priority. So we've talked about the food, which looks great. Like I said, there's the liquid gold, and then you have this this chili mac situation here, which looks kind of fun too. So you're doing, obviously innovating quite a bit around what you are trying to serve, right?
Yeah.
To serve your customers, and I presume you'll have even more as you go. What is this chili mac? What is this product here? What is that all about?
So chili mac was one of the biggest reasons why we started vending. It was like our hit dish. I actually did a few pop-ups before we got to the farmer's market with it. It's basically like a Frito pie, but it has mac and cheese on it. So it's corn chips, and then it's topped with homemade mac and cheese, and then it's topped with Texas red chili, no beans. That's important. Texas red
No beans.
no beans. And then liquid gold, and then we put green onions, sour cream, and jalapenos. And it is the most amazing thing. And honestly, when I send you your cheese, if I can figure out a way to seal the pack, I'm gonna send you the chili mac and cheese too. Cause bro, you're gonna call me and you're gonna be like, okay, first of all, we need this around the world.
That's awesome.
It's very good.
What is it? So on this product page, I'm just looking here, and it was something about May 16th. But then there's this thing with the cook line. I'm curious what that's all about. Are you working with local places for people to distribute to them, or something, or what?
No, that's our the cook line is our commercial kitchen. So when we were serving the chili mac, we would do pre-orders, and they would actually pick it up from our kitchen.
That's great. And in the middle of that situation, in the heat of this quarantine stuff, that was probably really
very easy.
Yes.
Yeah, like easy for people, a moment for you. Like it just, people needed something to connect. I mean, that was still really tough. I mean, it's not getting any better right now. So the cook line is your commercial kitchen space that you all are working at. Oh, very cool. That's awesome that you found a home there. But you say you're maybe trying to grow, right? Or take over the whole place.
We're growing too fast. It's way.
So do you have a staff then, or is it just the two of you?
Yeah, we have a small contract staff.
It's me, him, my mom, my brother, his girlfriend, and one friend.
Okay.
That's us. Our shipping and distribution is us and our children.
Yeah.
That's how all the best stores.
Like a sweatshop.
It's like a little sweatshop.
Well, I'm glad that the shorties are learning something because.
Well, they get paid.
Yeah, they get paid.
Oh, well, that's different.
They're employees.
Yeah, they're official employees.
They get checks.
Oh, good for them. That's fantastic.
We're teaching them how to spend their money wisely. If it's things that they don't need and want, they have to use their own money.
Of course.
So
that's fantastic. So we've covered the food. We've covered quite a bit actually. On the gear side, the like sort of the merch, apparel, non-food related things. How does that function as a part of your story here? Because again, it's a food brand, but everybody has to have a full suite of branded apparel. How is that working for you all?
It kind of just started originally when she started YouTube. Obviously, she had to kind of build up her YouTube. She couldn't, monetize it until she got, X number of views and subscribers and all that. Right. So the merch kind of really just started as a way to monetize her YouTube channel. This was obviously before she was selling, cheese and vending at the market and all those things. So it really started really small. And then it was kind of a crash course in learning, because when we initially started selling merch, we weren't selling any of it. Mm-hmm. And it was mainly because, even with I was running ads and, trying to promote it like crazy. Hey,
right, it's a lifestyle play without the food side that really drives the
interest. So once we got the adoption of the actual brand and people started loving it and, they recognized it, that's when the merch kind of took off a little bit more. So it kind of is a nice offset, I would say, because it's all of the merch is through drop shipping. So it just helps facilitate some of the expense and things like that when shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. So that's working out. That's fantastic. So let's see here. We've done our due diligence here. So what are y'all excited about? What's next? I mean, you're doing stuff with fitness and wellness, and obviously these are some pretty intense times just culturally, but what are you excited about? What's getting you all going right now for what you're doing?
I think just the unknown. Everything that's happened so far, we haven't planned it. And it's not easy. It's very hard, but I'm not complaining. I feel like I'm in a position to change lives and to help people. And I also want it to be known that I'm more than just cheese sauce. I'm more than just food, because people, I don't want to be known as the cheese girl,
Right.
It's a little weird.
It's actually not cheese. I mean, it's cheese, but not cheese. But it's not cheese. It's not from a cow.
So I just really want to continue to grow. I want to continue to spread. I would love a show eventually. And just to continue to help people. I want to actually show other women, not just women of color, but women in general, that you can do anything. You can do whatever you want to do. If you want to start a jewelry line, make some jewelry. Right. And honestly, I'm to the point now where I like to help people. And if you want me to try something or anything, contact me, send it to me. I'll give you my honest opinion. If it's good, I will post it. I'm not one of those people where it's I'm this and I don't really want. I will post it if I know that it's good quality, because another thing for small businesses is they just don't know how to get their name out there.
Right.
So if I can be a middleman, I will definitely do that. But
middle woman.
Yeah.
I know what you mean, and I know that my audience knows what you mean, and these days it's really important to bring our arms around as many people as possible. You know what I mean? And not just to grow our customer base, but because it's what needs to happen right now. From where I sit on this show, that's what I have to say about that.
No, I agree. And I think that we're not very different. Right. All of us. And then that's another thing. I don't want people to put me up here. I just want to help other people get up here, Like that's the goal.
Yeah, we have this sticker, and I gave it to my daughter because she liked it, but it was this little girl, like illustration of this little girl, and it was like a hand-drawn thing, and I don't know who the customer is, but it says, learn to fly so you can help others fly or something like that. And she just loves it. I was like, oh man, there's some of the slogans that we see in our shop just really, are very positive, right? Here's one right here. Like this one just says, imagine the you can't see this. It says, imagine the better world. You know what I mean? Like little slogans like that mean imagine the more beautiful world. Like those are the things that people can get behind. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to what you all are doing with fitness and trying to really, inspire people is, I think, important, because it's not just enough to just choose a recipe. You kind of got to commit to doing better for yourself too, right? Yeah. Especially for your physical well-being. Yeah. So you're excited about the unknown, Marcus. You're going to sounds like you're going to start another company in the next year or whatever. May add 5. You've got the 4 kids, which is a full-time job too. And I'm sure once we get back to the school year, there will be some challenges there. We're talking quite a lot about that in our household right now. But you're going to be running Fineapple Vegan and continuing to grow, right? You've done the business side. You're figuring that out. You're figuring out the marketing, like you said. You've got to really, like I started with, a very robust Instagram. We were chatting a little bit about Reels. You're going to dig into that. Maybe that's the newest thing for our audience today is front page news. Instagram is trying to take on TikTok. So we're always following those trends, right?
Yeah.
For any small business to follow a trend or at least understand it, to know what the culture is doing. And again, you can find them at Instagram. It's Fineapple Vegan, and Marcus is Marcus Be On It, and he's doing design work as well. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining us, and we've enjoyed watching your story so far. It's been quite the growth that you've had in a couple years. 2018 was not that long ago, so the hustle at the farmer's market worked so far.
Yes, and before we go, I really want to thank you and your company. You guys, we're coming from another sticker company. I'm not going to say any names, but you guys have surpassed them and our expectations. I appreciate you so much. I get such good vibes when dealing with you. I like the communication, the quality. And I'm not even just saying that because I'm on here. It's so much better.
No, I mean, you might be, but I don't think you are. I can tell you're busy.
I'm not. And the price is amazing. Y'all are just lights out, and keep doing it. And we are going to continue to rock with y'all. We're going to promote you guys.
And hopefully we'll have some more products that we can get labeled. And
if we can get the cheese out, we have other sauces.
Yeah, we have a lot.
Sure you do. Yeah, you can't just have a cheese sauce. You got to have a salsa. You got to have a gravy. You got to have
We have ranch. We have all types of stuff.
Yeah, we have.
We have a lot, but I want to thank you. And moving forward, I hope we get to do this again. And maybe next time I'm
the follow-up. The follow-up. We'll do the follow-up.
Yeah.
See where Team Fineapple Vegan is at. Well, Brittanie and Marcus Jones of Wiley, Texas, just outside Dallas, growing a family, growing a business. And we say this on the show every time. We say that every sticker has a story. Today, like I said, it comes from Wiley, Texas. It is a pineapple with Brittanie inside of it.
Drinking.
Her food. And she's on the straw, on the mic there, making sure everybody can hear and see what y'all are up to. And I encourage everyone to check out the YouTube. It is Fineapple Vegan. And thank you all for joining us.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
That wraps up this episode of Stickers on the Mic, brought to you by StickerGiant.com. You can download us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, or your favorite podcatcher. Thanks again for listening to Stickers on the Mic. We'll see you next time.